Hope you didn't have any problem finding this place, Sanjana? No? Pastor John, was
Easy.
it easy, right?
Yeah, straight line, straight line.
You know, those of us who have lived through this pre-internet and pre-cell phone era, they can't cease marveling how the times have changed. Vandana tells me in old times when she used to guide people to this place, she will always reference it to the main street, Quimby, which we overlook. And what it would do is that it will bring people right in front of our house, but across the wall.
Yeah, that's right.
And eventually they figured out the way to go around, negotiate that, and get here. But you know, this wall represents to me a kind of a prototype of other walls to be built, or you know, physical, other physical existing walls, or the virtual walls. And that is the reason I'm very much focused on these walls today, because we, most of the Hindu Indian Americans of my generation who migrated to this country in, say, in between the 60s and 80s, and who were born in free India, they are kind of coming to the retiring age. But these are the folks who had to explain a lot of Hinduism to the other people in this, our country of adoption, the country that we adopted. You know, why? Because, in my opinion, they were visible practicing their religion as compared to their predecessors. So people who came before us, they were few in number, so they were practicing their religion privately or whatever. But they were not visible, but we were visible. So we had to, did a lot of explaining. And they reacted to every distortion or misrepresentation of the religion, you know, because it was impacting their self-respect. So in a way, we were negotiating these walls also. These walls are distortion and other things, right? And this, although we tried to do that, but it seems like 36% of us, and this is according to Hindu American Foundation, 36% of us cannot answer a single question on Hinduism. Can you believe that? And why is it so? So in my opinion, what happens is, it is because the religion itself is a very, very liberal and pluralistic religion, nuclear, pluralistic religion, okay? And sometimes, of course, this pluralism is misunderstood. Pluralism is misunderstood as, rather called as polytheism. So it's a liberal religion, it is more a way of life than a religion, and it is not according to any particular book that subscribes the religion. So Hinduism is not a religion of the book. And that may be one of the reasons that many don't follow it, or they don't know, they cannot answer a single question. I come from a liberal but religious family. So during my upbringing, I have had some kind of religious exposure. And that is why it was harder for me to ignore if there was any distortion out there or any misrepresentation. It was difficult for me. For me, when at home we would do the prayers of, say, Lord Shiva, it seemed like it was a discourse in astrophysics. Okay? If you read Shiva Puran, you know, it seems like it is a description of supernova, the immense destructive power of the universe, immense power. But at the same time, it sprinkles the universe with the complex atoms, which are the harbinger of life. So there is something. Shiva was a notion, part of the overall consciousness. We Hindus see consciousness in everything, animate or inanimate objects. So it is not a wonder that one of these complex atoms or few of these complex atoms combine and become a protein molecule and somehow become that thing called cell. life, right? So there is something that connects the consciousness and inanimate, or connects inanimate to animate, and has a consciousness in it, you know. So for me, there was always a question: was there consciousness manifestation in the duality of particle? Come back to quantum mechanics. So there was a lot of this physics in it. I always felt that is that in that famous equation which relates energy to mass, is something missing there? Is there something that energy is going also to create consciousness? So this whole thing was pursuit of knowledge for me, kind of. And therefore it was hard for me to accept it, but the effort was always to negotiate this wall. So there is a subtle difference. The negotiating this wall around means it is only a temporary solution. It is for that moment. It only provides explanation for that moment. It is not actually equal to call demolition of the wall, demolition of the wall. We were not demolishing the wall at all. We were not working on the wall. We were actually going around it. So what I want to do now is, why I want to invite Vandana Kumar, publisher of India Currents, and I want her to tell you how this working on the wall has started, brick by brick.